Today we are talking about two works in progress, one of which is almost finished. I have a new cast on that I really like to have you ready for summer, and last week I went on a little day trip to Munich, so I got a chance to visit two yarn stores, so there's even a little acquisition section at the end, so get comfy and let's dive in. So, this week I didn't forget to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Luisa, but everyone calls me Lu. And this is a podcast where I talk about all my works in progress, my ideas and future plans, and take you along my knitting journey. So today I'm wearing my Cumulus blouse by PetiteKnit that I knitted with footprints in the colorway number 5, which is one of the yarns that I'm using to knit my sweatshop blanket with. So this is my Cumulus blouse. It is a raglan construction, really quick and easy knit. So I really like that, but knitting this project was actually a pain because you can see this is a color changing yarn, so you have little sections of blue and green and yellow. There are even some brown sections. So when I was working on the body, let me show you guys the body. So when I was working on the body, I was getting a lot of color pulling because you always have the same stitch count on every row. So I got a lot of color pulling, so I had to break my yarn constantly to jump to another color section to resume knitting. So I have dozens and dozens of ends woven in on the wrong side. So it took me quite a while to work on this project because of that. It was a little stressful even. So yeah, I didn't really like the experience of working on this project, but that is 100% because of the yarn and not the pattern. And I really like my finished objects. So yeah, at least there's that, right? So now let's jump to today's episode. So the first work in progress that I want to share with you today is my Daily Stripes cardigan by Kutovakika. I have it here. So this is my Daily Stripes. Since last episode, I knitted the last two stripes that I still had to work on the body, and I got so carried away working on this project that I knitted the two sleeves. I don't really know how to hold this so you can see, but let me try it on. And actually I don't think I will try it on because it's just missing the button band now, and if I try it on today there won't be any mystery left for next episode, right? Yeah, I don't think you know what, I will try it on. It's the most interesting part of the video, right? At least it's what I like the most. So this is my Daily Stripes. I finished the body, knitted both sleeves and blocked it, so you can't really see the bottom, right? But now you can. I really like the length. You have to be mindful of your row gauge in order to get the length because of the width of each stripe. But like I said previously, I am off gauge, so I am knitting 4 extra rows on each stripe to get the same width as the pattern calls for each stripe. But anyway, so the yarn I'm using to knit this project with is Ístex Plötulopi. So it is a unspun yarn. It is my first time working with unspun, and I like the process of working on the body and sleeves, but I didn't really like this yarn when I was knitting the ribbing and the Italian bind off, but we got to that in a minute. So the first color I am using is 1426 dark amber heather, and the second one is 1038 ivory beige. I really like these two colors next to each other. So let's talk about what I didn't like. I love the fit. I love these longer sleeves that I got. I really like the length of the body and everything, but when it comes to the yarn, let me take this off so I can actually show you what I mean. So when I was knitting on the body, I did a 1x1 rib, just like the pattern suggests. And I don't really like the tension. I got a little bit of a tension issue, I think. I think it's because I was knitting flat, since this is a cardigan, and I got a tension issue between my purl and knit stitches, I don't know. Because if you look at the ribbing, it is not my best ribbing ever, but it is fine. This is the fuzziness of the yarn. I don't think it really catches your eye. The ribbing mistake, the ribbing, the tension issue actually. So I don't think it really catches your eye, so that's fine. I didn't get this problem when I was working on the cuffs, but let me see if I can show you both ribs next to each other, so you can see the body, and you can't really see. Let me hold it like that. Maybe this way you can see. Oh my god, I really need to learn how to show you guys things. So there you go. So the ribbing on the cuff is way better than the body, but I don't really mind it. It works just fine. I don't think I will look at the body ribbing actually at all. So the cuff is where I know I will look at the most, because if I want to check my phone or anything, it is right next to my hands. So the cuff on the ribbing on the cuff is just like I wanted to, so it is just fine. Did I show you? I think I did. And I finished both ribbons, so body and sleeves, with Italian bind off. And let me tell you, doing Italian bind off with unspun yarn, it is not an enjoyable experience. So my yarn broke, what, 10, 12 times during the bind off on the body. And it was really frustrating because it is a unspun yarn, so it breaks really easily. But at least if it breaks really easily, it's also really easy to join two strands. So at least there's that. I used spit splice to join everything back together. Actually, I didn't use my spit because I don't like that. So I used water, so water splice maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so it was really easy to join them back together and continue my Italian bind off. But because of that, it took me, I think, a whole day to work on the bind off on the body. The sleeves, it was not as frustrating as the body was, but it broke, I think, 1 or 2 times. But anyway, now when it comes to the sleeves, I did 2 modifications actually. So this pattern calls for straight sleeves without any decreases. And I think you can see I still have my stitch markers. I think, yeah, I still have my decrease stitch markers. So I needed a few decreases. So I worked 10 decreases actually, because I just don't like such an oversized sleeve. And if you look at the sample photos, the sleeves are quite wide and quite big. So I decided to add a few decreases. I ended up with 10 decrease rounds. So in total I decreased 20 stitches. So you can see here my decrease rounds, and I'm really happy with the fit that I got after working on all the decreases. And I used, let me show you my sleeves. Yeah, I'm really happy with these sleeves. I ended up using a 3mm to pick up my stitches around the armhole. I always like to go down a few sizes to pick up stitches, and then I switched to a 4.5mm to work on the sleeves, which is the same needle I use to work on the whole body. And then I switched back to a 3.5mm to work on the cuffs and the Italian bind off. I mean, the Italian bind off uses a tapestry needle, but you know what I mean. So just one thing that I modified is the first round on the sleeves after you pick up stitches. the pattern suggests to knit all stitches, and if you do so there's a little gap between the purl bumps on the body here and the purl bumps on the sleeves if you knit the first row. So I decided to purl the first row to get the purl bumps on the sleeves and the body really close to each other, next to each other, because it is just the same thing that you have when you're working on the two fronts, so the left and front shoulders, so the left and right shoulders. And I was just saying, I think last episode 6 of the podcast, how I really liked this shoulder seam that you have here. It looks really neat, and I think you achieve that by purling the first row when you're working on the two shoulders, which is just what the pattern calls for when you're working on the body. So I decided to do the same thing when I was knitting the sleeves, and I purled the first row on both sleeves, and I am really happy I did that, because now you have the same look on the sleeve as you have on the body. I think I just hit my foot. Anyway, so this is my daily stripes cardigan. It is just missing the double knit button band, but let's jump really quickly to the acquisition section, because like I said, I went to Munich last week and I visited a button shop they have there. It has a huge selection of buttons, so I decided to go ahead and purchase the buttons for this cardigan. And this is my little button stash. Nothing fancy, but I ended up getting 4 22mm buttons, which is the size the pattern recommends. And I chose this, can you see? This orangey, almost a caramel color button that I am really happy with. I think, let me hold it next to the cardigan so you can really see. So the button band is knitted using only, in my case, the orangey yarn. So if you look at the button next to the orange yarn, I think it will look perfect. I really have to learn how to show you guys things, but I think you can see. So it really blends in well with the orangey yarn, and it looks really good next to the beige one also. So this is the button I got. I got 4 buttons just like this one. So I always get really frustrated when I am buying buttons, because I don't know if it's just me or if anyone else feels the same way, but buttons are really expensive, all right? I think I get really frustrated when I pay, what, €2? I paid €1.50 actually for this button, for each button. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it seems to be a really nice quality. Oh, now you can see, okay, I'm getting the hang of things. So it seems to be a really nice quality and everything. It's really well made and all of that. But I don't know, I can't sing. I always get really frustrated because I buy buttons so I don't have to look at it. Because here's my little button fury. So in my opinion, when a button really goes well with the whole garment, in this case my cardigan, I don't really look at the buttons. It really blends in well with the colors and the whole garment idea and style and all of that. So I don't really pay much attention to my buttons. But if the button is not the right fit for the garment, then it really stands out, and it's basically the only thing I can look at when I look at a cardigan. So I buy buttons so I don't have to look at it. But if I buy the wrong buttons, it's the only thing I can look at. So yeah, I always get really frustrated when I buy buttons. Anyway, but this is the only button, the button that I got for my daily stripes. So let me put them back in my button stash before I lose them. And now I can't close my button, my little thing, my case. Anyway, now let's talk about the second work in progress, which is my Lyon sweater, which is right here. Let me show you guys. So, can you see? Yep, perfect. So this is my Lyon sweater by PetiteKnit. Before I talk about that, I forgot to share a few things with you about the daily stripes. So let's go back just a little bit. I am breaking my yarn every stripe because, like I said, this is a unspun yarn, so it breaks really easily, and I think each stripe is wide enough to break the yarn and join it when I start working on the next stripe. So yeah, that's just what I'm doing, and I really wanted to share that with you. And this is a really lightweight sweater. I am going to weight this after I'm finished with the button band, but it's really lightweight, and the yarn page on Ivory also mentions that the garments are really lightweight, so I'm happy with that. And I am knitting from the pattern is in this book, Knits to Wear, that came out last November, if I'm not mistaken. And I am really liking the experience of knitting from a book. It is my first time doing so, and I really like that. Because I am always like, oh, how many stitches do I have to pick up? Let me open my book so I can see. And I just feel really fancy knitting from a book. It is just silly, but anyway. Now let's talk about the Lyon sweater. So, let's go back here. My Lyon sweater. This is a pattern by PetiteKnit. I am knitting mine with Knitting for Olive. It is perfect. So I'm knitting mine with Knitting for Olive in the colorways Marzipan, which is this lovely off-white, light beige, light gray. I don't know, I am terrible at describing colors, alright? And the second one is Wild Berries, which is this lovely pink. I am holding 2 strands together of each colorway to work on this, to knit this project. And this is the amount of progress I was able to make since last episode. So I was here last episode, and now I have finished my raglan stitches, my raglan increases, divided for the body and sleeves. And now I'm just working on the body straight without any increases or decreases or anything. And I've already blocked this because I wanted to try it on with you guys. And I wanted to block because I knew from my swatch that it was going to grow quite a bit width-wise. It didn't grow anything length-wise, but it did width-wise. So we'll try it on. But first, let's talk about the stripes, because it was my first time working on a raglan piece, a raglan garment with stripes at the same time, doing stripes. So the pattern gives you instructions on how to do all of that with and get jogless stripes. There's a video that you can watch, and that's exactly what I did. So this is my left shoulder, and this here is my beginning of round marker. Beginning of round, you can see here my yarns that I carried. Can you see? Yeah, that I carried along the stripes. So this is my beginning of round, and I don't think you can really see any jog between stripes. So I'm really happy with the finishing of this project. And I am also carrying the yarn on the body here. It is just hanging on some try-it-on tubing because, like I said, I already blocked this, and I just left it on the try-it-on tubing so we can try it on together, because I still haven't tried it on to see if it's good or not. Anyway, we are talking about the stripes. So I am carrying my yarn along the stripes on the body also. And at first, when I cast on stitches on the underarm here to start working on the body, I forgot to switch my beginning of round marker to the middle of my underarm stitches. So when I realized that, I was, I think, 2 or 3 stripes in already. So I had to do a little bit of rearranging here. So you can see there's this, where here, there's this funny looking yarn here. But anyway, at first when I used to knit stripes, I used to catch my yarn every row. So the color that I'm not working at the moment, I used to catch it every row. So you end up with this ugly looking, I think, seam here on the wrong side. And since then I decided to try wrapping my yarn just every time I am switching colors. So I'm starting to work on a new stripe, a new color stripe. So it is what I have here. So this is when I started catching my yarn every time I am switching stripes. In here, just every row, and it looks way better. I don't know if everybody does this like that, but it is my first time doing so, and I really like it. It looks way better. It's on the wrong side, so it doesn't really make any difference, but on the right side it looks exactly the same. Let me see which side is it. It's this one. It looks exactly the same. I really like the jogless stripes, but anyway, enough talking, let's try it on. And bring you guys down. So it is not ideal to try it on top of my Cumulus blouse, but anyway, it's just to have an idea. And there you go. It's just to have an idea, and I really like the fit now that I'm looking at it. I think I really like. I have a bit of positive ease, nothing, not much, but I think I have a good amount of positive ease. I think it's going to look just fine. I have room on the sleeves here. I think I have enough room for a collar, and yeah, I am really happy with it actually. I think it looks just fine here on my underarm. Sometimes when I am wearing store-bought sweaters, some sweaters I don't even know how to describe it, but it seems like there's too much fabric around here, so I'm not getting that with this sweater. So yeah, I am really happy with it actually. All right, so let me take it off, and I will just put it here because I don't want to hold it. Yeah, so I almost lost all my stitches. Look at it. Anyway, so this is my Lyon sweater. When I cast this on last episode I had just cast it on a couple of days prior to filming the podcast actually, and I was really worried about casting it on during spring. And this is a 100% merino yarn, held double, so I was worried it was going to be too warm outside to work on such project, but I am not worried anymore because the fabric is not as thick as I was imagining it. So I really like the fabric. It's really soft, and I'm really excited to have this as a finished garment, but it is not as thick as I was expecting, like I said. So it's actually really nice to work during spring, and I don't think I will be able to wear it during spring and especially summer, but to work on it, it is just fine. So I also said last episode that this Marzipan colorway, the light gray, light beige, I have no idea how to describe this color. Sometimes it looks to be a light pink, a really light pink, and I don't think I explained myself properly, because let me try it on one time. So this is the Marzipan colorway, and don't get me wrong, it is not a light pink, okay? It is a off-white, light beige, light gray. Like I said, I'm terrible on describing colors, but next to the pink one, to the wild berries one, depending on the light, the Marzipan one really looks like a really light pink, especially when you look at the stripes on the garment. So I don't know if on camera you guys are seeing it as a light gray or light beige or even a light pink, but this is what I meant last episode. So like I said, it grew width-wise with blocking. I got 5 extra centimeters when it was laying flat on my blocking mats. So I actually got 10 centimeters width-wise. That's why I wanted to block this before I try it on with you guys. And also, since I've blocked this, the little line I have here, so the little line I had here, it is now gone because it has all been blocked. So last episode I had this little section here, the top of the back panel. It had been blocked at the time because I used that as my gauge swatch, and now I blocked the whole project, so the little line is gone. So I'm really relieved actually, because I felt like it was going to disappear, but in case it didn't, I was, well, a little worried. But anyway, this is my knitting for Olive so far, and now let's talk about the next cast on. So let's go back to here. So now let's talk about the next cast on. I would just leave my Lyon sweater here. I don't think it bothers anyone, but anyway, let me sit and I need a bit of water. So I talked with you guys about a gift knit that I wanted to work on next. I was thinking about, it was a show actually, and I thought that I wanted to cast that on next because I don't really have a deadline for the gift knit. It's just something that I wanted to gift this person because it's someone special to me, and I wanted to give her something handmade because I've never made anything for her. So I didn't want to worry about size or anything, so I decided on a shawl. So my first idea was to use Fiucolana Arveta in the colorway 8, which colorway is this? 807. I don't really know the name. Let me get, I think I have the name here. Boysenberry? I have no idea how to pronounce this. Is it boysenberry? I don't know. But anyway, it's this lovely gray. Is this lovely purple here. I've never worked with Fiucolana, so my idea was to use this yarn to work on a shawl. This is a fingering weight. It is sock yarn actually. It is 80% wool and 20% nylon. So, but I wasn't really convinced in terms of the color because the recipient really likes that dark shade of pink that, depending on the color, when you look at it, you say it's dark pink. Sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's even red. You know that shade? So this is the shade of pink that she really loves, and I wanted to find a yarn with this same shade of pink to work on her shawl. So I ended up finding this Fiucolana Arveta. So I bought six skeins of this yarn, and my idea was to work on a hollow shawl by, I don't really remember the name, Melody Hoffmann. Yeah, so my first idea was to work on a hollow shawl by Melody Hoffmann, and I was just about to purchase the yarn, but then I read the comment section on Ravelry, and people were talking about the stitch counts and how they are off throughout the project, and the pattern and the designer apparently doesn't provide any kind of support or anything. So yeah, I was a little insecure purchasing a pattern that I already know has a few mistakes, and I don't know if I was willing to fix all of that. I mean, not fix, but if I was willing to deal with all of that. So I wanted this to be a quick and relaxing project. So yeah, and then I went to Munich last week, and I found the perfect yarn for the shawl that I had in mind. So this is actually one of the reasons why I didn't cast it on prior to my trip to Munich. So I found, this is where we jump to the acquisition section one more time. So I found this Mailenweit. I don't really know how to pronounce this. Mailenweit, Uni Mailenweit. I have no idea. This is by Lana Grossa. It is also fingering weight sock yarn. This is 80% wool and 20% polyamide. So it is almost the same thing as the Arveta yarn by Filcolana, because each gram of this Lana Grossa yarn, each bow is 100 grams, and it comes in 420 meters. So let me show you the color. I think this is the perfect color for the gift knit. It is that shade of dark pink that we were talking about. Let me show you next to the Arveta one. So yeah, next to each other, the Arveta really looks more purpley than the new yarn here. So yeah, I was really happy when I found this yarn. Let me see it one more time. So I was really happy when I found this yarn, and I purchased 3 balls of that because I needed 300 grams to knit the hollow shawl, because this was prior to finding out all the stitch count drama. So I got home, found out the whole thing about the stitch counts, and then I went on a scavenger hunt on Ravelry to find another pattern, another shawl pattern. And then I found out that I'm really picky when it comes to shawls, because there's always something that I don't really like, that I would like to change. So I couldn't basically decide on any pattern. I didn't really find the pattern that I was looking for, because I really wanted to work on the hollow shawl, but there was the whole problem. So that was off the table. And then the patterns I liked, it was either DK weight, so I would have to buy double the amount of yarn that I bought, or I was going to end up with a really small size, probably too small to wear as a shawl. And I got to a point that I realized I was just trying to find a pattern for the sake of finding one. And this is not how I like to approach my knitting, my hobby. So I decided, you know what, let's stop this whole gift knit idea. And I don't want to work on something just for the sake of having to gift her something. So I won't work on the gift knit. I will wait for when I really find a pattern that I really like, that I'm excited to work on. So I decided to cast on something that I already had the yarn for, and then I decided to cast on a tee to have it ready for when it gets too warm outside, basically summer, right? So let's show you my cast on. So I will take my Lyon sweater off Margot. Let's put it here and let's bring Margot back. I decided to cast on the Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. So I don't have much to show you. It is at that really awkward stage because I still haven't joined in the round. So maybe Margot will help me. So it is like this, and does it stay? Perfect. So this is the Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. Can you see? It looks just like the Skyline Tee. Anyway, this is a pattern by Tori Yu, and the yarn I'm using for this project is... Did I manage to lose my yarn again? Ah, it's here. So the yarn I'm using is Rowan Cotton Revive. Yeah, let's go with Revive. So this is a chain net construction. It looks just like a I-cord. Can you see? Yeah, it looks just like a big I-cord. This is colorway 005 Moss. Did I show you the color? Yeah. So it is 80% cotton, 20% other fibers, made with recycled fibers. So I guess it's 80% cotton and 20% recycled fibers maybe. So this is how far I've gone. So this is a saddle sewing construction. So you start by working on, that was convenient. So you start by working on this little rectangle here. The pattern calls for 2x1 rib, no, 3x1 rib, just like regular rib, but you couldn't really see the rib design when I was working with this yarn, so I decided to do a little modification, and now I'm knitting twisted rib, so I decided to twist all my knit stitches. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the construction, you start by working on this little triangle here, this little rectangle here. You do two rectangles, yeah, exactly the same, and then you pick up stitches along the side of each triangle, cast on stitches for the neck, and work German short rows to end up with what I have here. So I just finished my German short rows. I still have to work on the rest of the back panel before I am ready to work on the front panels. So anyway, this is what I have here. I really like the yarn so far. I still haven't blocked it, but I really like it. It is 80% cotton, so it doesn't have much elasticity to it. I mean, cotton doesn't have much elasticity, or at all actually. So I really like the chain net construction because it gives this yarn a little bit of elasticity. Let me see if I can show you. So here, can you see? I think you can. So I really like that because it helps with any tension issues that I sometimes get when I'm working with 80% cotton, with 100% cotton. I didn't think of that when I purchased this yarn, but it was a nice surprise. So I don't think there are any rowing out issues or anything because I'm still working flat, as you can see. So aside from the saddle ribbing detail here, this is a mainly stockinette stitch project. So at least for now, I don't have any rowing out issues. So I'm really happy with that. And I have other ideas for this project because, like I said, I took some pictures of the saddles here, the shoulder panels. I don't really know how to call this section here. Let's go with saddles. So at first I knitted just like the pattern suggests, so 3x1 rib, regular rib with no twisted stitches. And I took some pictures to show you guys because the ribbing didn't really stand out that much, and I don't know if the way I knit or the yarn, or I have no idea. So I decided to twist all my knit stitches, and I really like knitting twisted stitches, twisted rib. So yeah, it was an enjoyable experience. I really like that. Anyway, so I decided to twist everything. So this is what I have here. I don't know why I have this stitch marker here. I was using to track my progress. So let's take this off. And this saddle here goes all the way down the sleeves, the ribbing detail, all the way down the sleeves to the cup, to the ribbing on both sleeves. And I think maybe I will twist the knit stitches on the ribbing also. Maybe, I don't know, I still haven't made up my mind. It is just an idea that I have. So the next step here is to work straight down a few centimeters to finish the back panel, and then pick up stitches on the other side of each saddle to work on the front stitches. So this is my Skyline Tee so far, and I think it will be a quick and easy knit. It is stockinette stitch, it is a tee, so there are no long sleeves. So yeah, let's go to the acquisition section because this is the first time there's an acquisition section here on the podcast. Anyway, so let's go back. Perfect. So like I said, I have fiber in my mouth. Anyway, I went on a little day trip to Munich, so I took the train. It was really nice. The weather was incredible. I ate a really good lunch. It was a perfect day. I really enjoyed that day. I got the chance to visit 2 yarn stores. It was a really good day. So I already showed you the buttons for my Daily Stripes cardigan and this neo yarn here. I've never worked with this yarn, so I'm really excited to try that. Since I won't be knitting the gift knit for now, I think I want to purchase more yarn, more of this yarn to have a sweater's quantity, because I don't really like buying yarn without a pattern in mind. That's why I don't have an acquisition section here on the podcast, because I only buy yarn when I have any specific pattern in mind. I mean, that idea may change over time, but I always get really worried that if I buy yarn without a certain pattern in mind, that when I finally decide on a pattern, that I won't have enough yarn to knit up the whole project. So yeah, I just have 300 grams of this yarn, and I don't think it's enough to knit a sweater if I end up liking a sweater pattern. So I think maybe I will purchase 3 more balls of this yarn to have 600 grams, and then I will have more flexibility when it comes to the pattern that I can choose to use this yarn. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I think it's best to have a sweater's quantity than just 3 balls of this yarn and be really restricted when it comes to the patterns I can choose. Anyway, I am talking too much just to say that I will buy 3 more balls. Anyway, let's go to the acquisitions. So the first yarn shop that we visited, it looks so, I don't know why I'm holding this yarn, it looks so beautiful. I took pictures, so I will put it on the screen for you guys. So they organized the yarns by section, by color. So you have a section for each color of the rainbow, which is really pretty to look at, but it's not really a good experience when we are looking for any specific yarn. So in my case, this time I was looking for this dark shade of pink. So it worked out perfectly for the yarns to be arranged in colors, by colors. So I got to this yarn really quick, so it was a good idea, a good experience. But when I just browsing and looking for a specific yarn, yeah, to have them arranged by color is not really the best way. So I bought the buttons at the store, this yarn, and I also bought a second set of buttons. Where's my button stash? So here. I also got 5 of these 15mm buttons. It's just a regular, really dark brown, almost black button. This is 16mm. I got 5 of those, and I plan to use this button on my Clematis sweater that I will use this yarn here that I've already showed you guys. I don't really like buying, oh, I have Christmas socks. So I don't really like buying buttons before I have project done, because I really like to put the button next to the fabric. But in this case, I was already at the store. I had to travel to get there. So I decided to take that opportunity, and I already purchased the buttons. So there's that. I also got cables. I got childhood cables. So I bought 4 cables and a little set of end stoppers. Nothing really exciting, but I really needed those. So now the cable drama is over. So now yarn. I have a little basket here. I bought 6 different colors of Fil-Colana Arvita. Like I said, I don't like buying yarn without a pattern in mind, and I had a pattern in mind, but it is not a garment, because if you look at my wall here, if I take Margot out of the way, you can see that I have this giant blank space here, this white space, which is really not that interesting to look at. So I thought about doing a little something to make things more interesting. And I've always wanted to knit a few bows, like the December bow. It's actually the pattern that I have in mind, the December bow by PetiteKnit. So I thought maybe it would be nice to have little bows on the wall. I don't know if it's silly or not, or if it's not a good idea, but anyway, this is what I have in mind. So I just have 5 here. Oh, so I decided to buy Fil-Colana Arvita to hold the double, to knit my 6 December bows. This is the little palette that I went for. So let me show you the colors really quick. So I have the receipt to show you, to tell you the color names because here on the label you can only see the numbers. So let's go. This is colorway 245 Bordeaux, which is this lovely dark red shade or a wine. The other one is colorway 140 Burgundy, which is a little bit of a lighter shade of red that I really like. The other one is 236 Red Clover, which is this light purple, really pretty. I bought one more ball, I don't know, of this 807 colorway, which is the boysenberry one. I have no idea how to pronounce this. And this one, this mustardy one, is colorway 352, which, what is the name? Red Scroll. I always have trouble saying this word. Anyway, this is colorway 352. And the last one is colorway 810. Oh my god, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Chrysanthemum. The name will be on the screen. So it's coming across a little bit more red than it is in real life. I mean, it's pretty red. It's like a red orangey one. So I really like that. These are my 6 colors. Let me show you guys one more time. I think it would look really cute up on the wall, but if it ends up being a terrible idea, at least I have Christmas ornaments ready for December. Anyway, this is all my acquisitions since last episode, and I think I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, I am. So I also bought a little project bag. So I usually knit around the house. I don't usually knit outside or when I'm commuting or on the train or anything like that. So I have a few of these IKEA baskets. There are metal baskets, and I really like that for my knitting because I can carry them easily around the house and I can see my project through this mesh structure here. So this is just my sweet shop blanket, and I have a few of those, but I saw online the advertisement for Zostrene Grene. I never know how to pronounce the store name, and they were advertising a toiletry bag, which is this one actually. So for us knitters, it looks like just it's the same idea of those leather bags that you see from Mood. I never know how to pronounce that. So it looks just like that model from Mood or from Redesigned, and they are leather. They look really nice, and I'm sure the craftsmanship must be off the charts. But like I said, I basically knit around the house, so I can't really justify in my mind purchasing a 150 plus euros bag just to use it around the house. So anyway, that's why I don't have any project bags. This is actually my only project bag, my first and only project bag. So like I said, it is advertised as a toiletry bag, but I decided to use it as a knitting bag. The noise you see is my little tin of notions that I have inside. Let me show you this really quick. So it has this diagonal zipper here, and when you open, you have, there you go. So you have 2 main pockets here, the really big ones, that I think it's perfect for 2 or 3 or even 4 balls of yarn. So I got a chance to use this when I was on the train to Munich. So I put my Lyon sweater on one side here, on one side, and my 4 balls of yarn on the other side. So there is plenty of room for everything, and I really like that. There's this zipper pouch that is housing all my notions tin, which is the noise you hear. I have a pair of scissors, and so yeah, there's this zipper pouch here in the middle and 2 main pockets. So yeah, this is my first ever project bag that I am really happy with, and I am really excited to have. and it has this little handle to carry it around. And since I basically knit around the house, I thought that it was nice to use as my switch up blanket project bag. I can put my 2 white skeins of yarn, my 2 balls. So yeah, it is a really nice size, and this is my project bag. It is made of fabric, so don't get me wrong, it's not even close to being as good as the leather ones from Mud by Mud and redesigned, but it fits my needs just perfectly, so there we have it. It is a fabric, so I have no idea what is it is pictured here. I mean, I can see the flowers just fine, but I have no idea what this thing here is. I have no idea what this symbolizes. Anyway, this is my little project bag that I'm really happy with, and I think that's all I have for you today. Actually, I've been talking for quite a while actually, and let me get a sip of water. So anyway, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and for spending some time with me. If you're new here, I would love to have you stick around and subscribe for more cozy knitting updates, and I will see you on the next one. Bye! I almost forgot, if you want to share with me what you've been working on, I would love to know, so comment down below. Okay, now bye!